Every week, we all face the same beginning, a Monday. For some, it's the most dreaded day, a reminder that the weekend is over and responsibilities are calling. But for others, it's an opportunity, a fresh canvas, a brand new chapter waiting to be written. The difference lies not in the day itself, but in how we choose to step into it. The best way to start your week strong is not about working harder, but about working with clarity and intention. Strength at the start of the week doesn't come from rushing into task or filling your calendar with endless meetings. It comes from taking a pause, from setting the right tone, and from creating a mindset that sustains you, not just for Monday, but for the entire week ahead. Think of your week like a journey. If you begin in chaos, the journey feels heavy, stressful, and draining. But if you begin with direction, the path becomes meaningful and purposeful. And that purpose is what fuels resilience. The first step is to reconnect with why. Why are you doing what you do? Why does your work matter? Too often, we let the noise of emails and notifications steal our attention before we even recall what truly matters. But when you remind yourself of your why, at the beginning of the week, you align your task with meaning. Suddenly, it's not just a list of obligations, it's a mission. The second step is clarity. Begin your week by deciding the top 3 priorities that will truly move you forward. Not 30, not everything, just 3. Because clarity is power, and power is focus. If you let Monday scatter your energy in 100 directions, the rest of your week becomes a blur. But if you begin focused, you protect your energy and channel it toward what counts. The third step is energy. You cannot start strong if your body and mind are weak. How you treat your morning sets the tone for your week. Movement, healthy food, moments of stillness. These are not luxuries, they are necessities. They are the fuel that keeps you strong when challenges arise. Strength doesn't come from willpower alone. It comes from caring for yourself so that you can give your best. And finally, the best way to start your week strong is not to do it alone. Connection matters. Share your intentions, encourage a colleague, check in with your team or family. Starting strong means creating a ripple effect. Because when you lift others at the start of the week, you create an environment where everyone rises together. So the best way to start your week strong is simple: reconnect with your purpose, choose your priorities, protect your energy, and nurture your relationships. Strength is not in how much you do, but in how meaningfully you begin. A strong week doesn't happen by accident. It is designed by choice. And the choice begins with how you step into Monday. 5 keynotes of the speech: begin your week by reconnecting with your deeper why. To create meaning and direction. Focus on no more than 3 key priorities to protect clarity and focus. Take care of your energy through movement, nutrition, and rest to stay strong throughout the week. Set the right tone on Monday. Chaos leads to chaos. Clarity leads to momentum. Strength multiplies when shared. Start your week by encouraging and uplifting others. To begin a week with true strength, the first and most powerful step is to reconnect with your deeper why. Too often, people wake up on Monday mornings with an automatic sense of dread, not because the day itself carries any weight, but because they have lost touch with the purpose that drives them. Without that connection to meaning, Monday becomes nothing more than the start of a cycle of obligations. But when you reconnect with your why, everything changes. A simple task becomes significant, a challenging project becomes an opportunity, and a week that might have felt overwhelming transforms into a mission with direction. The reason most people feel drained or uninspired at the beginning of the week is not that they are incapable or unmotivated. It is because they are running on autopilot, reacting to emails, notifications, and pressures instead of starting from a place of clarity. The human mind needs purpose the way the body needs oxygen. Without it, we lose our energy, our enthusiasm, and our ability to see beyond temporary discomfort. That is why reminding yourself of your why at the start of the week is like charging your internal battery. It is the fuel that sustains you when challenges inevitably come. Imagine someone who works in healthcare. If that person starts Monday thinking only about long hours, endless patients, or administrative work, it is easy to feel burdened. But if they take a moment to reconnect with why they chose that profession, the desire to heal, to comfort, to serve others, suddenly the same long hours carry a different weight. The work becomes a contribution, not just a duty. Similarly, for a teacher, the endless grading and lesson planning can feel suffocating unless they remember the deeper why shaping the minds and lives of the next generation. That connection changes the energy with which they walk into the classroom on Monday morning. When you begin your week with your why, it also reshapes your priorities. Instead of being consumed by tasks that look urgent but are not truly important, you learn to direct your attention toward what aligns with your purpose. You begin to ask, does this move me closer to my mission? Does this reflect the kind of person I want to become? That kind of filtering system protects you from wasting time on what drains you and helps you focus on what fulfills you. Reconnecting with your why does not require hours of reflection. It can be as simple as taking 5 minutes on a Monday morning to write down one sentence. This week, I am working to, and then filling in the blank with your purpose. It might be to provide for my family, to build something meaningful, or to grow into a better version of myself. The clarity of a sentence like that can anchor you when distractions try to pull you away. Some people find it helpful to create a weekly ritual, a quiet coffee, a walk, a moment of journaling, dedicated solely to remembering their deeper reason. What matters is not the form of the ritual, But the fact that it helps you see beyond the surface level of your task, there is also a deeper psychological reason this practice works. The human brain is wired to seek meaning. When we know why we are doing something, the brain perceives effort as valuable, even if it is difficult. This explains why two people can face the same challenge, but one feels exhausted while the other feels energized. The difference is not the difficulty itself, but the meaning attached to it. Purpose turns effort into growth, whereas a lack of purpose turns effort into exhaustion. Consider the example of athletes. Training is grueling, repetitive, and often painful. But they endure it because they are connected to their why, whether it is winning a championship, representing their country, or proving something to themselves. The same training without that connection would feel unbearable. In our own lives, work and responsibilities may not look like Olympic training, but they demand the same mental energy. Without a why, they feel like drudgery. With a why, they feel like preparation for something greater. Reconnecting with your why also helps you handle setbacks with resilience. A strong week is not one without problems. It is one where problems do not derail you. If your why is strong, then a missed deadline, a difficult colleague, or a personal obstacle does not break your spirit. You can remind yourself, this challenge is part of the journey, not the end of it. In that sense, your why acts like a compass. No matter how stormy the weather becomes, you still know the direction you are headed. On a practical level, this means that starting your week strong is less about what tasks you immediately accomplish on Monday and more about the mindset you establish before you dive into them. You might not finish every task you set out to do. You might face unexpected interruptions. But if your why remains clear, you will not lose sight of the bigger picture. That is what makes a week successful, not just ticking boxes, but aligning what you do with what matters most. Ultimately, reconnecting with your why is not just about motivation. It is about identity. It reminds you of who you are and who you want to become. When you step into Monday with that sense of identity, you are not just starting a week, you are continuing a story, one that is written with intention, meaning, and strength. And that is what gives you the power to begin not with dread, but with determination. Focusing on no more than 3 key priorities at the start of the week is one of the most effective ways to create momentum and protect clarity. The temptation, especially on a Monday, is to look at everything that has piled up, every message that needs a reply, every task waiting on your desk, and convince yourself that the only way to be productive is to tackle all of it at once. But that approach scatters your energy. Instead of making meaningful progress, you end up with a week filled with business but lacking real achievement. That is why narrowing your focus to 3 key priorities gives you strength. It simplifies decision making, reduces overwhelm, and ensures that your time is being invested in what truly matters. When you look at a long to-do list, your brain interprets it as a burden. You may feel motivated at first, but as the day unfolds, the sheer volume of tasks drains your energy and creates frustration when many of them remain unfinished. By contrast, choosing 3 priorities gives you something achievable and purposeful to direct your energy toward. It tells your brain, this is possible. This is within my control. And when you complete those 3 things, you experience a sense of progress and accomplishment that fills the rest of the week. The number 3 is not accidental. Psychologists often speak about the rule of 3. Which is the idea that the human mind works best when it organizes thoughts, goals, or ideas in groups of 3. It's small enough to be manageable, but big enough to feel significant. If you set only 1 priority, you may underutilize your potential. If you set 10, you risk diluting your energy. 3 gives you balance, a structure that helps you focus without feeling limited. To understand the power of this, consider the difference between activity and productivity. Activity is about doing a lot. Productivity is about doing what matters most. A person could spend an entire week answering emails, attending meetings, and managing small tasks, yet feel no closer to their bigger goals. Another person could focus on 3 meaningful priorities, and even if their list of minor tasks remains unfinished, they would end the week with real progress. The distinction is critical because energy is finite. How you choose to direct it determines whether you finish the week feeling drained or fulfilled. An important part of identifying your top 3 priorities is asking yourself which tasks align most with your larger goals or values. If your purpose is to build trust with your team, then maybe one of your priorities should be having a meaningful conversation with them rather than simply sending more emails. If your purpose is to grow in your career, perhaps one of your priorities is to dedicate time to learning a new skill rather than spending hours on tasks that don't contribute to your growth. The key is to recognize that not all tasks are equal, and giving equal attention to everything is one of the fastest ways to weaken your week. Another benefit of focusing on 3 priorities is that it creates clarity not only for you, but also for those around you. When you are clear about what matters most, you communicate it through your actions and decisions. Others can see your focus and they adjust to it. Clarity has a ripple effect. It sets expectations, reduces confusion, and even inspires others to bring the same level of focus to their own work. A leader who starts the week with scattered energy sends a message of uncertainty. A leader who starts with 3 clear priorities sends a message of direction and purpose. This practice also builds resilience because clarity reduces stress. Many people feel stressed at work not because they are incapable, but because they lack a clear sense of what matters most. They try to juggle everything, and in doing so, they drop the ball on what is truly important. But when you begin your week by saying, these are the three things that will move me forward, you give yourself permission to let go of the rest, at least for the moment. That doesn't mean ignoring smaller tasks. It means refusing to let them control your energy or distract you from what counts. It is also important to note that focusing on three priorities doesn't mean they have to be monumental. They simply need to be meaningful. One priority might be finishing a project that brings you closer to your goals. Another might be strengthening a relationship with someone important in your life. The third could be investing in yourself through rest, learning, or personal growth. The balance is up to you. What matters is that those three things reflect progress in areas that are significant, not just urgent. This mindset creates a shift in how you measure success. Instead of feeling defeated because your inbox still has unanswered emails or because you couldn't check off every small task on your list, you end the week looking back at the three things that mattered most and knowing you move them forward. That creates satisfaction, motivation, and confidence. You no longer feel like you are drowning in endless work because you know that the most important work was done. Ultimately, when you focus on no more than three key priorities, you give yourself structure, direction, and purpose. You transform your week from a scattered race against time into a deliberate, meaningful journey. And when you repeat this practice consistently, it doesn't just make Monday stronger. It builds a life of clarity, resilience, and progress. Taking care of your energy through movement, nutrition, and rest is one of the most essential ways to ensure that you begin the week with strength that lasts. Too often, people think that success in their work or life depends only on their mental toughness, their determination, or their ability to keep pushing no matter how tired they are. While determination is important, it cannot compensate for an exhausted body or a neglected mind. Energy is the foundation upon which focus, creativity, and resilience are built. Without energy, even the clearest goals and strongest intentions collapse under the weight of fatigue. That is why the best way to start a week strong is not just to prepare your schedule, but to prepare yourself. Movement is one of the most underestimated sources of energy. Many people believe exercise is about physical fitness, appearance, or discipline, but at its core, movement is about vitality. When you move your body, you generate energy rather than deplete it. Even a short walk, some stretching, or 10 minutes of light activity in the morning sends signals to your brain that you are awake, alive, and ready to engage with the day. Science shows that movement releases endorphins, improves circulation, and sharpens mental clarity. This means that by moving your body early in the week, you are priming your brain to make better decisions, handle stress more effectively, and sustain your focus for longer periods of time. Starting Monday with movement, whether it is a workout or simply choosing to walk instead of sitting immediately at a desk, is like setting a powerful tone for the days that follow. Nutrition plays an equally critical role in fueling a strong week. Food is not just about satisfying hunger, it is the raw material your body uses to create energy. When you consume foods that are heavy in sugar, processed ingredients, or unhealthy fats, you may feel a temporary burst of energy, but soon after you crash, leaving you sluggish and unfocused. On the other hand, when you choose balanced meals that include whole foods, lean proteins, vegetables, and complex carbohydrates, your energy becomes steady, your mood more stable, and your ability to concentrate much stronger. Many people overlook how much their productivity is tied to what they eat. A distracted, foggy mind is often not the result of a lack of willpower, but of poor nutrition. That is why starting your week with mindful eating is like giving yourself an invisible advantage. It is about fueling the body so that the mind can perform at its best. Rest, though, is the third pillar that makes movement and nutrition work effectively. Without sufficient rest, both the body and mind struggle to recover. Rest is not laziness, it is preparation. It is the process through which the brain consolidates memory, repairs itself, and prepares for new challenges. Too many people treat sleep as negotiable, staying up late to finish tasks or scrolling endlessly on devices, and then wonder why Monday feels heavy and exhausting. If you want to start your week strong, you must see rest as a non-negotiable investment in your energy. A well-rested mind is sharper, more creative, and more resilient to stress. A tired mind, no matter how motivated, cannot operate at its best. The combination of movement, nutrition, and rest creates a cycle of strength. When you move your body, you sleep better. When you sleep well, you make healthier food choices. When you eat better, you have more energy to move. Each one supports the other, and together they build a foundation that allows you to not only start strong, but also maintain strength throughout the week. Without these habits, even the most inspiring goals and carefully planned priorities fall apart because your energy runs out before your intentions can turn into action. Think of energy as the fuel in your tank. If you begin Monday with an empty tank, no amount of willpower will keep you moving for long. But if you enter the week with your tank full, through intentional movement, nourishing food, and proper rest, you give yourself the endurance to handle whatever challenges appear. Imagine two people with the same workload. One neglects their body, skips sleep, and fuels themselves with caffeine and processed food. The other moves regularly, eats intentionally, and prioritizes rest. By Wednesday, the first person feels drained, irritable, and overwhelmed, while the second feels focused, balanced, and capable. The difference between them is not their workload, but how they prepared their energy to meet it. Caring for your energy also creates confidence. When you know that your body and mind are supported, you face challenges with greater optimism. You are less reactive to stress and more deliberate in your choices. Instead of dragging yourself through the week, you carry yourself with strength, which not only benefits you, but also influences the people around you. Energy is contagious. When you start your week full of vitality, you inspire others to rise with you. Ultimately, starting your week strong is not about pushing yourself harder. It is about preparing yourself better. Movement, nutrition, and rest are not luxuries or optional add-ons. They are the foundation upon which strong weeks and successful lives are built. When you care for your energy in this way, you give yourself the ability to show up fully, to focus deeply, and to sustain momentum not only on Monday, but through every day that follows. Setting the right tone on Monday is one of the most overlooked but powerful ways to shape the entire week. People often underestimate how much the beginning of something influences everything that follows. Just as the opening scene of a film sets the mood for the story, or the first chapter of a book sets the rhythm for the narrative, the way you approach Monday frames the rest of your week. If Monday begins in chaos with rush mornings, scattered attention, and reactive behavior, the days that follow tend to carry the same energy. But if Monday begins with clarity, intention, and focus, the week naturally builds on that strong foundation. The first day of the week becomes more than just another day. It becomes a signal to yourself about how you will show up. The psychology of beginnings plays a critical role here. Humans attach meaning to firsts. The first impression of a person, the first attempt at a project, the first day of a new role. All of these moments carry weight because they set expectations. Monday functions in the same way. It is the first impression of the week, and it quietly influences your mindset for the days that follow. If you let Monday overwhelm you, Tuesday and Wednesday inherit that tension. But if you use Monday to establish order, focus, and balance, you carry a sense of confidence into the rest of the week. This is why being intentional about Monday matters so much. Rather than treating it as a day to catch up on everything or to frantically jump into work, it is more effective to treat it as the day that sets direction. Imagine starting Monday by identifying the tone you want to carry forward: calm, focused, purposeful. That tone then becomes the filter through which you approach decisions, conversations, and tasks. Without that clarity, you risk falling into a cycle of reactivity, responding to whatever comes your way rather than leading your own week. Consider how many people wake up on Monday already defeated. Saying phrases like, "here we go again," or "I can't wait for Friday." Those words are not harmless. They are instructions to the brain. When you begin Monday with dread or negativity, your mind interprets the week as a burden. Every challenge feels heavier because you already framed the week as something to endure rather than something to embrace. On the other hand, when you start Monday with words of intention, such as, "this is a chance to reset," or "this week I will focus on what matters most," you are programming your brain to see opportunities instead of obstacles. The tone you set becomes the story you tell yourself, and that story shapes how you act. The importance of Monday is not just about your internal mindset, but also about how you influence others. In teams, families, or communities, the way one person starts the week often spreads. A leader who comes in on Monday with frustration, exhaustion, or disorganization communicates that energy to the people around them, whether they intend to or not. Likewise, a person who starts Monday with clarity and positivity sets an unspoken example. Energy is contagious, and Monday is often when people are most sensitive to it. By setting the right tone yourself, you not only benefit personally, but also contribute to creating a stronger, more focused environment for others. Setting the right tone on Monday does not require grand gestures. It can be found in simple, consistent choices. Waking up with enough time to avoid rushing, beginning the day with a moment of reflection or gratitude, reviewing your top priorities before diving into tasks. All of these practices establish a rhythm of calm control. Even small rituals, like organizing your workspace or starting with one meaningful conversation, can shift your mindset. The point is not perfection, it is intention. When you choose your actions deliberately on Monday, you remind yourself that you are in control of how your week unfolds. Another reason Monday matters so much is that it is often when your willpower is strongest. After rest on the weekend, your mental and emotional reserves are at their highest, making it the best time to make decisions that require discipline. If you set the right tone by acting on your priorities early in the week, you ride that wave of energy. If you let Monday slip into distraction and disorder, you spend the rest of the week trying to recover lost ground. In this way, Monday is less about what you achieve in terms of volume and more about what you establish in terms of direction. Think of it like steering a ship. A small adjustment at the beginning of the journey dramatically changes where the ship arrives. Monday is that adjustment. Even a few intentional choices, a clear plan, a focused morning, a positive mindset can redirect the entire week toward better outcomes. When you neglect Monday, you may still move forward, but you are more likely to drift rather than navigate. Ultimately, Monday is not something to survive, but something to design. By setting the right tone, you transform it from a dreaded beginning into a powerful launchpad. The week that follows is shaped by the way you walk into that first day. And when you walk into it with clarity instead of chaos, you create momentum that carries far beyond Monday itself. Strength multiplies when it is shared. And one of the best ways to start your week strong is by encouraging and uplifting others. It is easy to think of Monday as a solitary battle, something you face on your own with your own strategies and routines. But human beings are deeply interconnected, and the energy we carry into the beginning of the week has a powerful impact on the people around us. When you begin Monday with positivity, kindness, and support, you not only strengthen yourself, but also create an atmosphere where others feel empowered to step into their week with confidence. That collective energy becomes greater than anything you could build alone. Think of how a team operates. If one member shows up discouraged and defeated, it affects the morale of the entire group. Likewise, when someone shows up energized, optimistic, and focused, it lifts everyone else. This principle holds true in families, friendships, workplaces, and communities. Mondays are especially significant because people are often most vulnerable at the start of the week. Many carry stress, fatigue, or anxiety about the challenges ahead. A single word of encouragement or a gesture of support on Monday can shift someone's mindset from dread to determination. By offering strength to others, you multiply the strength that exists in the environment, which in turn supports you as well. Encouraging others at the start of the week does not always require dramatic acts. Sometimes it is as simple as checking in with a colleague and asking how they are doing, or sending a short message of appreciation to a friend or family member. Other times it might mean sharing your own vision for the week with your team and inviting them to do the same. When you create space for others to feel valued and seen, you not only strengthen their spirit, but also deepen your own sense of purpose. Strength shared is strength amplified because it reminds us that we are not alone in the journey. There is also a practical advantage to uplifting others. When you start the week by building connections and reinforcing trust, you create smoother collaboration for the days ahead. Challenges are easier to navigate when relationships are strong, and productivity is higher when people feel encouraged. A Monday morning filled with frustration, criticism, or indifference makes cooperation harder. But a Monday morning where encouragement is exchanged sets a tone of unity and shared purpose that carries forward. Encouragement also fosters accountability. When you share your intentions or goals with others and invite them to do the same, you create a supportive environment where people motivate one another to stay focused. This is especially powerful on Mondays when setting direction is so important. By uplifting others, you create a circle of accountability that helps everyone, including yourself, stay aligned with what truly matters. On a deeper level, uplifting others at the start of the week taps into one of the most profound human needs, the need to belong and to matter. When you recognize someone's effort, validate their struggles, or simply offer a kind word, you meet that need in them. And when people feel that they matter, they perform better, think more clearly, and face challenges with greater resilience. That means your encouragement has a ripple effect. It not only makes Monday stronger, but also creates momentum for the entire week ahead. The idea that strength multiplies when shared can be seen in countless examples. In sports, a team's success rarely depends solely on individual talent. It depends on how well members uplift and support each other. In workplaces, high-performing teams are not just made of skilled individuals, but of individuals who know how to encourage one another. In families, the ability to face challenges often comes not from one person's strength, but from the collective resilience built through support and love. These examples remind us that when we start our week by focusing not only on our own energy, but also on how we can contribute to others, we create environments where strength compounds. This approach also transforms the way you see leadership. Leadership is not about control or authority, it is about service. A true leader begins the week by asking, how can I make others stronger? Whether or not you hold a formal leadership role, you have the ability to lead by example. When you bring encouragement to those around you, you demonstrate that strength is not about standing above others, but about lifting them alongside you. There is also a personal benefit that comes from uplifting others. Encouragement is reciprocal. The act of giving it often reinforces your own sense of optimism and strength. When you tell someone, you've got this, you are also reminding yourself of the same truth. When you help someone else see their potential, you are reinforcing your belief in your own. The energy you give away has a way of returning to you, often in ways you do not expect. Mondays are the perfect moment to practice this because they carry so much influence over the days that follow. If you set the tone of encouragement on Monday, you are planting seeds that grow throughout the week. A team that feels supported on Monday performs better on Wednesday. A family that feels cared for on Monday carries that warmth into the weekend. And an individual who feels uplifted on Monday may pass that encouragement to someone else, creating a chain of positivity that extends far beyond you. Starting your week strong then is not just about your own mindset, goals, or energy. It is also about the impact you have on others. By encouraging, supporting, and uplifting those around you, you turn individual strength into collective strength. And that shared momentum has the power to transform not only your week, but also the weeks of everyone you touch. The way you begin your week determines the story it will tell. When you reconnect with your deeper why, you give yourself direction. When you focus on 3 key priorities, you give yourself clarity. When you care for your energy through movement, nutrition, and rest, you give yourself fuel. When you set the right tone on Monday, you create momentum that lasts. And when you encourage others, you multiply strength in ways that extend far beyond yourself. A strong week does not happen by accident. It is built by choice, designed by intention, and sustained by purpose. Every Monday is an invitation to lead yourself and others into a week that is not only productive, but also meaningful. The best way to start your week strong is to remember that strength is not found in doing everything, but in beginning with what matters most and carrying that intention forward into each day.